right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Chronicles of a Virgo Podcast. And as usual, I'm your favorite Virgo host, Shakita Johnson. And today, guys, we have a lovely guest joining us. If y'all don't know her, I truly encourage y'all to definitely go tap in with her podcast, like everything. I am a fan, supporter. I love this person to death. We have the host of the Confessions Corner,
Mm-hmm.
Miss Vena Jones herself. How are you doing today, sis?
I am doing well, and thank you for this. Like, this is so dope. Like I told you beforehand, like you've been having a great run. I'll be on the lookout for all your posts, all your episodes. I really like tuning. And I commend you for keeping strong within this because it's of course, as a fellow podcaster and friend in podcast, we discuss how like all of the components of making a podcast, having conversation is we have to be very particular. So I really do appreciate you, inviting me into your space. I feel so welcome. I'm excited.
Yes, no problem. Like, honestly, I commend you and thank you for your support because, like, there's tons of podcasters we come in touch with like every single day, but like the support that you give to me and everyone else that I see is phenomenal. I'm like, how did this girl keep up with like everybody? Like, it shows that you just have a loving spirit and you just embrace everybody. So I want to give you your flowers for just being an amazing person.
Thanks.
Yes.
Right, look,
Yes,
for
girl.
real.
No, like you have created a wonderful space over there. And like I told you, like when I watch, because I have to watch and listen to your podcast, like I'm like so in tune because the conversation topics, they're so real. They draw you in and they have you just like really sitting there like, okay, I can look at things from a different perspective, or like, how can I apply this in my life to be better? But you have fun at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
So like I appreciate you and your friends and just having that whole platform.
Course, and likewise, this is a beautiful space. Like I said before, and I'm happy to be here. Of course, I'm always happy to clap for my fellow people, on my fellow podcasters, creatives, artists, everybody that's doing dope ass shit. Like, oh, can I cuss?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, people that's doing, everybody that's doing dope ass shit. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing, honestly. So, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for having
But
me
yes, and I just said on like one of my recent episodes that like community is everything. Like I used to be like,
here.
oh no, we can navigate life by ourselves, or no, community is so important, and like in podcasting, it really is crucial. You know what I'm saying? We help each other. So
Exactly. It's imperative. And I think that's within any realm, any type of space, any type of, like you said, niche, like it really makes a difference when you have others to assist you or just be on your side or helping you or even just giving you words of encouragement. Like it really does make a difference, honestly. It really
yes.
does.
Yes, I love it. So before we get into some things, because y'all know we be getting into some things when a guest pop up, we got to do
Okay.
our mental health checks. Okay, we got to make sure that our mind, body, spirit, and soul is in alignment. So how
Right.
we do the mental health checks for anybody that's new that is joining us, we rate our mental health on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 being that you're feeling in a good space, 1 being you may not be in the best, you have some room for pouring, but you are managing. So, Miss Lady, how would you rate your mental health today on a scale of 1 to 5?
Oh my goodness. I would very much want to go with 4 and 4. I'm gonna stick with 4.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with 4 just for leaving space for growth. This week, good old Mother Nature came on through and visited your girl. So along and I've always embraced, the cycle or whatever. And it brings a lot of emotion, I think, throughout this week. I call it like my reflecting week because I'm so emotional during this time and whatever the case may be. But specifically this week, it really called in a space of just feeling and allowing myself to feel, especially the feelings that I usually like push this time. Like, okay, well, I'm gonna sit down with this in like 2 weeks or maybe a week or whatever. Like I really do schedule that out sometimes. Because sometimes I just don't want to feel certain things at a certain point in time, but eventually I'm gonna have to face them. And I think this week I was courageous enough to sit down and do that, and evaluate myself, not only myself, people within my circle, within my tribe, and understanding the gaining and like the grieving of it all. Like it's such a duality type of thing. Like some things I'm grateful for that I've gained, and the knowledge and the insight, not only with self, but like I said, with others. And then also the grieving, some of the things I have to let go within myself, and then within repositioning and letting go some other people, So I would say it's at a 4. I'm in a little vulnerable space right now, but it's all good. I'm feeling blessed. It's a beautiful time to be alive. But yes.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. I know that womanhood thing, it can definitely take you one way or the other. But something you said, you was courageous enough to embrace like all of your emotions and flow at this time. And I think that's important because I am an advocate for sitting in your shit, but you can't stay there, right? And
Right.
sit in it with the intention to figure out what's going on so you can like apply something positive to help you move forward and navigate those waters. But it's also important to also know the grieving process of letting go, like letting go of parts of us and people, especially people that are still alive, like those friendships that don't serve no justice anymore. So I'm glad that you were able to have that moment with yourself this week because, like you said, you push it off sometimes because you don't want to feel it, but it's imperative that we do. So I'm glad that you did that.
Thanks. How are you
Yes.
feeling?
My mental health today on a scale of 1 to 5 because I've been very like vocal about my struggles these last couple months and getting back in the swing of things. I am at probably a 4.5 today.
Okay.
Just because I'm cold. Like, you're here in the States with me, okay? So you know that this weather is like snowing and it's cold and it's windy. So it's just like I'm okay with being cold, but I don't like to be freezing. And I have been like shivering cold. But otherwise I feel like I have finally found some type of balance to just like get myself going and doing things. I'm still on my break from work, I guess you'll say, but I have to prepare to go back in another week. So trying to like get myself mentally prepared to move back into that office professional setting. I think
Right.
I'll be okay now because I really needed to get myself together and be healthy.
And that's important. That's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, and I was just explaining to somebody yesterday, like, they were asking me like, how were you able to get off? And I'm like, you guys really need to check your benefits, your corporate benefits, if you work for nonprofits, whatever, check the underwriting of things. Like if you're paying for
Right.
certain things and don't know, really find out because sometimes there are certain clauses and benefits in your package that may help you in those moments. Like you don't got to tell everybody your business, but you may be able to get off of work for that time. And I took it, like
It's
you,
true.
yeah, you know a little bit more than what I had, transpired. But
Right.
moving forward, I'm in a space now where I just like it's a new year. I want to just like expect new energy, new vibes, like all of that stuff. If it don't apply, I'm letting it fly and I'm just going to keep pushing.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah. So I do these mental health checks as a way to hold myself accountable to continue to check in with myself because I need it. And as well as like people that's listening, guests that come on because life be lifing, be moving fast paced sometimes. A lot of us hold a lot of different roles and titles and wear different capes. And sometimes we just need a reminder to just sit for a second, breathe, and really check to see how we're feeling before it gets too late, before we get
Right.
to that burnout point and we're just like crashing and burning. So that's my reason for doing these checks. So thank you for participating.
I appreciate it. I like that.
Yeah, so I hope everyone else out there is doing their checks too, making sure that you're okay. And check on your friends, strong friends, friends that are not so strong. Check on your family. Ain't nobody saying you got to get in their business, hold a conversation. Just, hey, how you doing? You feeling all right today? Just make sure people are good. Sometimes people really need that.
You
But don't
do.
do it if you don't really care. That's a whole another thing. All right, girl. So let's get into this conversation. I'm excited for this one. I feel like it'll be something that a lot of people can resonate with,
Okay.
especially women, maybe men too. But we're going to talk about embracing our uniqueness and just celebrating our wholeness as Black women.
Okay.
And yes, girl, because I feel like, and I know I can speak for me too, but I know other people would say it, like, we go through a phase, especially like when you're on social media, you're in the podcasting space, public figure, whatever. You go through this whole comparison phase where you see other women and you're like, well, damn, I wish I looked like this, or I wish I had that. And you start doing things to yourself that is not healthy, trying to ricochet the same thing that you're seeing on social media. So I feel like holding these conversations are important because A is saying like, well, hey, you're not the only one that thinks and have felt this way. And then
Right.
B, maybe these are some alternatives on how you can embrace your uniqueness. I feel like we're all unique, you know?
Of course. We have our own style. We have our own culture. We have our own like thing about us. And I really do appreciate this topic because it's right on time, if anything. It's divine alignment because I did have a conversation, especially with my sister today, just about how I was feeling like a couple of weeks ago versus like how I'm feeling now. And I feel so much better, especially being as a creator, being as a podcaster, and also just being a Black woman as a whole. Some things that I've been trying to obtain, the path that I'm on, and then also like how I was comparing myself. And my sister very much, gave the insight that everybody's path is different. And each time I kept like, reiterating how I was feeling, how I wasn't sure about something, how I had these doubtful thoughts. She kept telling me like, but you have to understand, Vena, everybody's path is different, And I just recently had my latest episode was just, embracing the journey and staying on your own destined path. It's a lot of mental obstacles, I would say. And specifically being a Black woman, we do experience a lot of how can I say this, comparison and joy, whether it be like, either whether it's body image or whether it's like success or anything for that matter. It's a lot to digest and to actually filter out. But I will say the best thing about that is like really taking the time to understand who you are and what you like. And especially, like you said, highlight your uniqueness. Like I know for myself, my personality is very different. It's very different. Not trying to say it's too much or anything like that, but I think my personality is what's unique about me. I get a lot of mixed reactions from like how I present myself, versus like how once people get to know me, it starts to, they like, oh wow, I didn't expect this, or X, Y, and Z. And it's the funniest thing. But I really, really encourage everyone to like embrace like what makes you, because that's ultimately like what defines like who you are and what you do, the people that you attract and things that you attract, so it's very important, I would say, just to sit with self and really figure it out. I'm not trying to say it's all rainbows and daisies and stuff like that. It's sometimes a dog fight.
Yeah.
It low key is. And I think specifically for Black women, the thing about like comparison is more so like if it's not success, it's body image. I remember being like young and I was skinny. I was very skinny, but then also like heavy chested. So like it kind of like messed with me a little bit, seeing everyone else develop in the way that they developed, and and it kind of messed with me. They always say comparison is the thief of joy. So for a long time, like I was not accepting of self. Like it was a point in time where I was like avoiding mirrors. Like it does come a time where there are like some dark days, but then ultimately I really had to sit with self and understand that, like my sister said, everyone has their own destined path. So I do believe like with comparison, and specifically for Black women, we go through a lot. we go through a lot. We definitely go through a lot. So
It's funny you said that because I think like for me, as I got older, I realized like what I was actually going through when I was like younger. I went through like a whole like identity crisis in like elementary, middle school
Mm-hmm.
because and I've spoke about this like briefly on the podcast, but not like as much as I'm about to get in depth today, but like about my complexion. I was
Okay.
either told that I was like, oh, you're not black because you're too light skinned, or you're not white because you're black. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I
And
understand.
yeah, like I remember going home telling my mom, like, what am I? Like, because all of my family, like I'm the lightest person in my family.
Okay.
So like seeing like my grandmother and my aunts and like cousins and stuff, everyone's is darker than me still to this day. I'm like the lightest person in my family. And I'm like, darn, like I don't have none of y'all last name. And because I have my father's side last name, and I'm like, I don't look like the shades of any of you guys. So for a long time, like I used to be like, oh, I'm white, because that's what people in school, like kids were bullies, you know.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
telling me that. So like I never embraced my blackness until maybe like a few years ago. Like, and that may sound crazy, but like I knew I was black, like, you know, be real.
Yeah, but
But I really like embraced like my blackness. And it was to the point where like when I came to high school and like going to choose colleges, I didn't want to go to like HBCUs because I didn't think that I was,
really,
yeah. Now, if I was to do it all over again, I would definitely have went to a HBCU, but I
mhm.
didn't want to do it because I felt like I still did not fit in with black people. I always felt like the oddball out because I was lighter than a lot of my friends and stuff. And even in high school, like my nicknames were like I had my nicknames and stuff, but like the main one was light bright, you know,
Wow.
red bone, like yeah, things like
Yeah.
that. And I think at that age, when you're a teenager, you think it's cool and stuff. And now that I'm old, I'm like, nah, like
That
it,
shit is not okay.
yeah, like
Not okay.
it's not okay. I had people calling me like Snow White and
Oh.
girl, yeah, it used to be, and like, you know, back then you would laugh it off because again, for some reason I think I felt like, well, hey, it's me, so I don't fit in, but they're calling me this so that I do fit in. But I did not realize the disconnection with me and me just embracing myself, you know. So besides like my complexion and me really getting like embracing my full blackness, it was that I was big chested. I was like the only, probably one of the only kids in like middle school wearing like bras, like not just sports bras, but like bras. I remember the traumatizing experience of my mom taking me to JC Penney's getting fitted for adult bras. Like I skipped over the training bra period,
Yeah, same.
you know, and it was just like they sat me down like, okay, things are going to look a little different now. Like you just can't wear this, you have to wear this and this. Everything was changing so fast for me in like middle school, you know. And I'm like, how am I supposed to embrace this part of me and I don't even know if I even want those there.
Right.
Even as an adult, I tried to get a breast reduction because
Really?
oh yeah, like this was like back in like maybe like 2013, 2014ish. Yes, I
Wow.
wanted them taking, can y'all take some of this? Because again, I felt like people only looked at that as an adult now. That's when you see me, I felt like that was the only thing you saw.
Mm-hmm.
The physicalness. And mind you, I'm not even fully braced in my physicalness, so I don't want you to even see me for that, you know. Then I found out it's a whole process to even get like a breast reduction. So I was just like,
Yeah, it's
I'll
a
just
lot.
work out. Yeah, it's a lot. So I was
It's a
like,
lot. I've
I'm just,
looked and researched. It's a lot.
yeah, I'm like, physical therapy. What? Like they make you do a whole lot of stuff because if they're going to pay for it, they're like, listen, you better fit all this criteria, you know? But like I battle with that. Like my weight has been like up and down. Then I found out like about the women go through the worst hormone issues whatsoever, you know. So yeah, honestly, like a few years ago, I felt like is when I really, really stepped into accepting of my full blackness, like everything. And I was just like, man, I wish I would have had an HBCU experience. Like I wish I could have just been more like doing advocacy work, just being around. And if I had someone that was like encouraging me to do that, had they known that I did not like I disconnected myself a little bit from but like my black counterparts because I didn't feel like I fit in, I probably would
Mhm.
have pushed myself to my limits to actually explore, you know. other parts. Like my friends that I have now, I didn't know them back then, you know, so they also helped me. And like you said, there are times when I feel like ick. Like I just be like, ugh, you know what I'm saying? I think that's a normal feeling, you
Yeah.
know, but then it's just like, oh my God, do I look good on camera? Like, is this ring light too light? Like, it's gonna make me look pale. I do,
Oh my God, no
girl. Yes,
way.
I still deal with the color, the complexion stuff a lot. I will admit that I still deal with it a lot. But I'm feel like I still am also embracing my blackness. You know, I love being black. I love being a black
Yeah.
woman.
Girl, it's lit as hell. Like
Clearly, you
lit.
know.
It's lit.
Yeah,
But
but
oh,
like your
sorry.
sisters, like your sister said, like it's a journey, but it's just like, well, how do you navigate the waters of these journeys?
It's so I appreciate you for being transparent because a lot of people have had like I've you're not the only person that has like light skin that's told me like, yeah, you know, I'm too light for the blacks and I'm too black for the whites, you know. And especially in like middle school and like high school, there was a sense of like isolation versus like isolating. Like they would get isolated by, you know, the whites and stuff like that and the blacks, and then also they would like in turn not try to associate themselves with any type of culture. And I think more so it starts with like it starts, like I said before, just knowing self. But even in your situation, you know, it was a little difficult. It's a dog fight. It's like a mental dog fight. Like I tell people that, like, it's so hard to detangle certain things and certain concepts about ourselves so easily. You know, it's so hard to get out of certain like ideals about ourselves. Like when I was younger, especially being a black woman, you know, and I'm glad that you were able to, like, you know, start to embrace your blackness, because that is something that's who you are. You are a black woman. Very, what did what's her name say, Beyonce's song Fluorescent Beige? Like, we could be fluorescent beige, but bitch, you're black.
Yes,
Like,
that is one of my favorite parts. Probably because of that. Like I be screaming that to the top of my lungs, and that's
fluorescent
because
beige. Like, it's
you
not
come in
what,
all different shades.
it's all different shades. And I think it's very important to like notice that. But even with noticing that and digesting that, it takes a lot of courage to even sit with self and be like, oh shit, like this is who I am, and really realizing that, and nitpicking at the things that you want to alter, not so much, you know, drastically, but like alter your ideas of self. You know, okay, we are a black woman, like what does it mean to be a black woman, X, Y, and Z. I know for myself, when I was younger, I had this thing about my hair. Of course, black women, we weren't represented, or young black girls weren't represented in the way that we are now, or like people are starting to advocate now for. And I wanted my hair to be like the Disney princess, like Jasmine and stuff like that. So I used to, for the longest, I used to walk around with a towel and like a what's it called, a headband on my head, and
Mm-hmm.
pretend like it was my hair. And I, looking like when I was doing it, I'm like, okay, this is normal, whatever, woody woody, like in my house, I'm doing it. I did it for like a couple of months, or like maybe like a year or so. And my mom had to like really sit down and be like, no, this is not your hair. Stop this. I don't know what you're doing, but stop it. And looking back now as a grown woman, I'm like, oh, this is sad.
Yeah.
Like subconsciously, that was going on in my head. And I think it's a lot of, what's the word? It's a lot of reprogramming,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of reprogramming. And then also it's a lot of change of insight, because we are now in an age where we, especially now on social media, we see other black women, you know, making alterations to their bodies, to themselves, to their, especially to their skin, you know. And it's a cause for concern when it's taken to the limits. Now, I'm never going to judge anyone for what they want or what they want to look like, but specifically, if I'm ever asked for the opinion, you know, specifically for black women, I do believe that we have to embrace our features, who we are, and all the different types of shades and sizes and stuff like that. As hard as it may be, not trying to say it's the easy process, as hard as it may be, I do believe embracing like the blackness of us, you know. it it speaks so much volume, because a lot of other cultures try to imitate it. you know,
You
and
have the blueprint.
yeah, it's such a mind-blowing thing to know that other races and cultures and whatever the case may be want to imitate who you truly are, and you don't even, want that. But in that process, it's hard to love self because you've been told all these different things. They were calling you freaking light bright, like, girl, I mean,
Yeah.
you're light skinned, but you're black, like,
Yeah.
and it's such a difficult thing. But I think conquering that mindset it's not easy, but it is doable, especially with community. Surrounding yourself, like how you said, I went to HBCU, I went to the illustrious Morgan State University. But
Okay.
but being there, before I went there, because Morgan was like my dream school, but before going there, I was on the road in this program to go to Bucknell University, which is a PWI, and I was just going because my mother was like, "You better get a scholarship." I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go in this program." It seemed like they letting a couple of Black kids in. I might as well try it. But when I didn't get accepted, I was like, "Oh my God, why?" Like, whatever the case may be. But going to Morgan has had to be the most best decision like I've ever made in life. I'm not gonna lie. And it's not so much just because, of course it was one of my dream schools, but at the same time, being there was different. Being in the community of Blackness was different. To go and experience homecoming, to go and experience like Black professors profoundly speaking to you about the education, not only just what we're supposed to learn, but then also about our culture, the other facts and the knowledge that was hidden or pushed to the side within like the mainline like school system. Like it brung so much clarity. And especially from the household that I grew up in, my father we used to go to church. I was raised in a Baptist church. But as time went on, me and my sister had questions about spirituality and religion. My father, my mother was very, supportive of it, but my father used to like sit us down every Sunday. We would, read the Bible, dissect it, but alongside with that, we would watch like Black history documentaries. My dad used to sit us down and let us listen. I kid you not, he had tapes of Malcolm X speeches and Martin Luther King speeches, and he would like have us had discussions afterwards about like what's the difference, where's the comparison, X, Y, and Z. So I understand that, embracing your Blackness, especially being a Black woman in America, it's a whole new world, basically. It's a whole new world. Do you feel as if like the people, like when did you start to notice like you were like Black or like embrace your Blackness, or when did you start feeling confident within that?
This is gonna sound so bad.
I mean, look,
This is gonna sound so bad, but like I'll be real. I'll be real. Like again, I've always known I was like Black. However, just like being bullied in school, being told one thing, for a child it was conflicting, right?
yeah.
I feel like I wanted to dive more into my Blackness during COVID.
Okay.
Like during the height of like the George Floyd stuff, because I started hearing and seeing things that again, I went to PIWs. Like I knew Black history, but I didn't know like the nitty gritty of Black history. And I think that was for a lot of people, right? It was for a lot of people. Things were happening, like the whole George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, all of those situations. You wanted to just go out there and you just wanted to rip the necks off of people, right? But at the same time, it gave me a chance to like really dive into more like history, especially the law side of it. And I'm just like, bro, like I'm Black and I don't know this. So I just like, I felt like the more I fed myself information and stuff, it just made me just get more comfortable in my skin as a
Yeah.
Black woman. Now, that's not to say that I hated myself or anything before COVID. I didn't. I had my imperfections that I didn't like, just like I still do now. But it made me like really just fully like embrace it. It made me fully like be okay with like looking in the mirror and accepting like I am a Black woman. And for some people in this crazy chaotic world, it's not easy, you know. It's like you can be a Black woman at home, but then when you go in a professional setting, you gotta switch that tone up a little bit. You gotta put your head down. I don't do that. I don't walk with my head down anymore. as a Black woman. I walk with my head. I'm confident in my walk. I'm confident in my talk. I'm sorry, it feels like I'm coming at you aggressive, but that's just the tone that's how I talk, And as far as like my physical features, I feel like that is just a daily, it's a daily thing,
It's a daily thing.
It's a daily thing. I went through the whole like hair thing too. My mom permed my hair at a young age.
Okay.
So I like getting my hair permed. I'm not natural at all. People think I'm natural. I am not natural. And I think part of it for me, like to wear my hair out and in wraps a lot, is because as a child, I wanted long, flowy hair. Well, now I want the natural curls, but I don't want to take the time to tame the curls. And natural, it takes a lot for it, right? But I appreciate women, Black women that take the time to really, that's your crown. You fix your crown, you take the time. Like all my friends are natural.
Yeah.
And I listen to the stories, I watched them fix the stuff, and I'm just like, I don't have the patience for it. But if I did,
to the natural side, girl, let me know. I got some styles for you if you want to lock your hair, But
girl,
whatever is your preference, it's fine. But the just noticing it's a different type of thing. But the hair thing, yes.
yeah. And so I think I'm to the point now because I'm getting older. I will be 35 this year. So
Good.
yeah, I'll be 35.
Yeah, you look good.
Oh, thank you, girl.
You do. I thought you was my age. I'm like,
last year people were like, wait, you're 34? I'm like, how old did y'all think that I was? I mean, it's a compliment
like
to me.
28 at least.
Ooh.
At least. I thought you was like
y'all hear that?
I
might have to clip that one part and just post it because yes, thank you, sis. Thank you. Because no, I think it is so, and that's another thing I think that makes people feel like uncomfortable and insecure a little about themselves. And when people tell you that you look so much older than what you are, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've had people that have told me that back in the day that I look super old. And I'm like, well, maybe I'm just tired. Like,
yeah. People tell me they think I'm older than what I am. I'm like, child, I am a baby. Not a baby, but I'm a grown woman. But in comparison to the woman that I'm around and like the sisterhood that I have, I am the youngest. So it's kind of like
no, I thought you were older because you are so mature and wise. So it had nothing to do with, like, see, that's the thing. That's the difference. It had nothing to do with looks. Everything to do with intellect. Yeah, because I heard on I don't know if I don't know if it was your podcast or you was on another podcast and you said your age. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, no, it's just like your intellect has nothing to do with like how you look, your physical features, everything with your wisdom. Yes, like so. Yeah, I feel like I'm at a point now in my adult life where it's like it's all or nothing, right?
Right.
And like I said, I wish I would have gone to a HBCU now, but I also played basketball, so like
What
HBCUs
school did you
wasn't
go to?
for high school.
Did you go to college? You went to
I did. So yeah, so my freshman year of college, I went to a school called Potomac State. It's
Okay.
in Kaiser, West Virginia. It's like a really small JUCO.
Okay. And
And
you
then
child.
huh?
They got some different folk up in there.
they do. Like my mom set me down before I left and was like, listen,
They
like
got some different folk.
this is what you may be up against. But again, I did not deal with that much adversity because people thought I was biracial, which is horrible. Like I get that a lot too. I'm like, bro, why can't I just be Black? I'm not in between. But yeah, I did not have a lot of issues where it was such a small town. You really didn't see anybody unless they went to like the school or lived in like the surrounding communities. Now, if you came out of the area, then you'll see more people. But I really like didn't leave campus that much because my mama had that talk with me about like,
Right.
this is what you do in these type of situations. You get pulled over, like you had to like really be prepared,
Absolutely.
Luckily, the majority of my teammates were white, but their parents were very supportive. So after I did a year there, I was homesick and I came back home to Maryland and I did a year and a half at the time it was the College of Notre Dame on North Charles Street because I played ball. All I wanted to do was play ball.
Right.
Unfortunately, I fractured my tibia going into my second year. So I ended up like having to like I just left because I couldn't play ball. I finished my undergrad at UMUC, so I still got my bachelor's. And then I went straight back to get my master's. I did another online program at Liberty University. But
Okay.
had I known what I know now about that school, I probably wouldn't have went to Liberty.
Yeah.
I probably would have explored like other schools, but I just wanted to do everything fast track. Like I just wanted to be fast track, and I was still working, and online school was just easier for me.
Right.
But again, like it was like my sister, she graduated from Bowie,
Okay.
and seeing
Yeah, my
her
sister's
whole,
doing too.
yeah, like seeing her whole experience, I'm like, yeah, what else y'all doing? Who coming to home? Like
Yep.
I'm like, yo, what? So now she is a senior. It's her last year of grad school at North Carolina A&T. I'll be
Okay.
like, what's going on? I'm like, homecoming doing what? Like, I wish not just the extracurricular parts, but it's like the culture, right? Like
Right.
all the culture and just now I have met people from all different walks of life, different races and things like that. But I definitely feel like if I would have went to a HBCU, it would have challenged me to be around more people that were not like me, and I may have really like fit in. I just like, look, I never fit in, so I'm not going to even explore the option. I did apply to HBCUs. I applied to Howard, I applied to Bowie, and everybody had to apply to Morgan back then, where
Of
when I went to
course.
high school. Yeah, and I was just like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
I love
So
Oregon. Oh my God. So much magic there, but I understand. It's a it's a lot with deciding, of course, with college, but what I realized, especially going to HBCU, that this is constructed for you. You know what I'm saying? If anybody wants to venture to a PWI, that's their choice. But specifically for the Black individual, I do suggest experiencing a HBCU, if anything, ultimately, because not only do you get to, it's not so much of like everything's Black, everything's whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it gives you more of an insight about you,
mm-hmm.
and I've noticed those years are really crucial to self-development and also flowing into your adulthood.
Yeah.
I've noticed that the things that I've carried in college, the things that I've learned in college, outside of, the education, but the experiences, the interactions, the everything else, it made so much sense when I became an adult. And also going on the venture of self-discovery. I
Mm-hmm.
was in college and, I'm around these Black folk, but also I'm understanding who I am within my Blackness. I'm around other Black women. I'm understanding that, Black people are, at the top of these classes, are profound in these majors and these careers. And yes, they are profound within the real world. And it makes you feel more empowered, I would say. Because you realize a lot of stuff. You realize a lot of stuff, not only about your culture and the people in there, whatever the case may be, but then also about yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and specifically how you talked about your skin tone and stuff like that. Like it really makes, I don't know how to explain it, even like how I'm telling you now. Like it's a whole different experience. And I really did wish you had that experience, to be honest, because I think having that would have given you more insight or more appreciation. Not trying to say you don't appreciate yourself now. I commend you for seeking out your community and everything like that. But it would have made you been like, oh, I'm not only a Black woman in America, but like, this is who I am. These are my people. And you also could decipher, some things that you enjoy about it, then also some things that you don't enjoy about the culture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a big experience. But also like tying it into embracing uniqueness. You do have like you said, fluorescent beige, but you are a Black woman. And that's something that I do believe that Black women should like address first. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we are women. We could get into that, but there is a much bigger difference for Black women, not to dismiss anybody else's culture, but specifically
Mm-hmm.
Black women. And Black people as a whole, I think we have a difficult time sometimes embracing our uniqueness, because sometimes we are told, well, majority of the time we are told like, no, this is ghetto, your hair is nappy, this is too Black, too loud, too aggravating, too much attitude,
It's just
like
too much.
it's too much. And it's like, well, why can't I be too much? I'd rather be than too much than less.
Okay.
I'd rather be. And it's so empowering to know that just being, I think I've heard this, like, I think I heard this like last month. An artist has said it. He said, you know, just being Black presenting is like a statement, you know, just being Black presenting is a statement, specifically, okay, a Black person, but a Black woman, just being within that realm of work, within the social, within whatever, it's a statement. You already come in the door as a statement. And I think the best way to navigate that and to embrace that is just to really, like I said before, sit with self and see who you are. You know, yes, I'm this light-skinned Black woman, but also, you know, I'm intellectual, I am creative, I am X, Y, and Z, you know, and don't really give into the labels that other people try to put you into. You know, it don't do the nigga no good. That's all I'm gonna say. It don't do us no good.
No, you're completely right. And it's like you mentioned, like the whole mindset shift. Like it's imperative that we really sit with ourselves, and you have to figure out who you are as a person.
Yeah.
And even the parts that you may not like, your imperfections, I've had to sit with, well, why don't you like this? Like, you know, this may make you unique, you know, in some shape or form. Like I have, a lot of people won't ever know, but I have alopecia
Okay.
on my edges. So that was something else added to the plate that I got bullied about for the longest time. And until I got like an adult, when people didn't acknowledge it anymore, I felt comfortable with wearing my hair in different styles and different things. Until one day, one of my coworkers, she had like a short haircut and it was shaved, and she had like designs, and it was dope though. Like that's another thing. Like Black women are so creative with their hair, and they're not afraid to explore different things. And she was like, girl, I thought yours was like that. That's why I went and got mine and got the. I'm like, nah, this is like hereditary. Like it's not even. You have
And you
no.
see, like the inspiration, is like, damn, sis, I thought, nah, but it's good though that she saw that in the representation. She saw that on another Black woman. It's like, oh, I might
Yeah.
as well, you know, even though it was, you know, misinterpreted, but at the same time, it's like, oh, you got it. I'm gonna go get it because I see it on you and I can relate to you. Why? Because you're a Black woman. You know,
Right.
it makes a lot of the difference. But yeah, embracing the uniqueness about self, and even like not really trying to fall into comparison. It takes a lot. I found myself doing it last week, and like I said, my sister had got me up out of it because I'm like, well, dang, you know, I don't know if I'm this and I want to be this type of woman and I can be, but at the same time, I don't feel like that. And it's so much going on. And personally, I just don't know how to navigate it. And I don't know if I'm behind or if I need to catch up. And it's so many things that go into, like I said, comparison really is the thief of joy. But it also like kind of gives you some type of push if it's like used in a healthy way. Like if you're like, comparing other, not so much in a, like a derogatory like way, like, oh my God, this person is better than me, I can't believe it. You know, I think that if you're comparing yourself to, let's just say, other podcasters or other creatives, you know, it's like, okay, I like the way this person does X, Y, and Z. How can I shift my stuff into my own style and my own uniqueness and really figure out like what is my style, so I don't have to like feel like I'm comparing it like this person is better than me. You know, I'm using that thought process of comparison in a healthy or productive way. And I think using it in a productive way helps way much more than using it in a way where it's like, well, oh, this person's better than me, I'll never be this and I'll never be that. And you honestly have to, like I said before, embrace your own journey, embrace your own path. And like the topic is embracing your own uniqueness, because that's
Yes.
what
And I
Beyonce
feel
said. Like,
Yes, I feel like when you realize that we all are unique in some type of way, whether we have our hair different ways, our complexions are different, we all have lived different lives, our paths are different, then that should shift your mind. Well, if I'm unique, then I can start creating these different things about myself, like creating your own hairstyles, creating your makeup to look a certain type of way. Like for
right.
me personally, like I'm not into like a lot of that makeup and all that stuff. But I know people that do, and I'm like, oh my God, like I idolize people that do, you know. And I had a coworker, she told me, she was like, well, it must be nice to feel like you don't have to wear makeup. And I was like, at first I didn't know how to take it, right? Because I'm like,
Mhm.
well, are you saying that I need to
That's a
wear it? Yeah.
statement.
Or is it saying, she's like, no, I'm just saying, like, I wish I was that confident to feel like I didn't need to wear makeup. And I'm
Mm,
just like, well, think about it. You don't need things to make you pretty, or do you? But again, it's getting to a place where you know what, you just know, like I'm confident in my skin. I know I'm beautiful. I don't want anything to alter my complexion or whatever. And I'm not saying I'm against makeup, because like people use makeup for different reasons. But
mm,
in her case, like it was just it's the only time she feels pretty.
mhm,
And I'm like, I never have been that girl. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? But once you shift your mind overall and just realize that, like, hey, I'm unique. Let me just work on my confidence a little bit. And you mentioned earlier about like how people like unfortunately feel like they need to alter their bodies and things. And with social media now, more than anything, think we're seeing more people getting like all these enhancements and surgeries. And unfortunately, people, it is the demise of them, they're they are they pass away, like, sadly, like Jackie O, like last year. Everyone, oh my gosh, she was so beautiful, she didn't need any to get anything else done. But
mhm.
maybe something in her mind felt like she wasn't enough, you
Yeah.
know and this is so random, but like I was listening to Shannon Sharp's podcast, his recent episode with Country Wayne. And
Okay.
Country Wayne was talking about like he's paid for like breast augmentations, he's paid for BBLs for women that he's dealt with. And Shannon Sharp was like, why? He's like, because they wanted it, they felt like they needed it. And I knew as a man there was nothing I can tell them that was going to make them feel like they didn't need it. Like they had already had. I can build them up, I can affirm them, but in their minds they felt like they needed that. So I had to let them go get it to see if it was something they really wanted. And then some of them had to come back and like, yeah, this is not for me. You have to find a balance. And I know some people work really, really hard on their confidence and their self-worth. And it's just like when you remove everyone else from that origin of you, it's so much easier to just aim in and focus on yourself and be like, you know what? I think I kind of like me. I think I'm a cool person.
Think I'm a cool person. Or you have to know, I think, and especially like, the affirmations, being a therapist, being a social worker myself, I find myself talking to my clients and, not so much of like unnecessary praise, but really finding the strengths in certain things about them, uh, understanding that, we're not, and bring it to the forefront that you are not you're not a perfect person, but you are very willing to be in tune with self, and the pursuit of that makes you, like, we're going to put in quotations, perfect, or
Mhm.
it makes the whole process of it beautiful, because you are noticing your imperfections, but then also you're embracing them. And then the things that you can change, not so much on the outside, but like inner work is what matters the most, and I really do like to focus on that specifically with my clients, and especially, just regular with my friends. I
Mhm.
like to make sure that, people, and not just telling you anything, because I don't like to tell people just anything, but more so focusing on the strengths that people have, because people have unique strengths. Some things I have that other people don't have, and some things other people have that I don't have. But what we have to do is we have to understand that we can't have it almost all. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to have everything for everybody. So the things that you do have, you need to build it on it, and embrace that uniqueness about yourself. Like you, like I said, Beyonce said unique, girl. I took that. I said, how long?
Yeah.
Perfectly.
And then sometimes your imperfections is what, like you said, is what make you unique, because 9 times out of 10, no one else has that but you.
No one does.
Like you have that one birthmark that's somewhere that no one else has it. So my hope is that people really get to the point, even myself, like really get to the solid point of just being so comfortable and just embracing your full selves, whether
Yeah.
it's embracing your full blackness or whatever ethnic group you fall under, and just
Right.
embracing being a woman, embracing being a man, and not feeling like you have to be someone else. Don't get wrapped up in the whole social media facade, because it will make you feel like you ain't shit half the time. Like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
my hair, I need more
See?
hair.
Yeah, it's a thief of joy. It's a thief of joy.
Yeah, and embrace all of those areas. And I feel like part for me that what has really, really, really helped me is having a very inclusive tribe. Like I talk about my friends all the time. They don't never lie to me. They only tell me the truth, even when I don't want to hear it. But trying to have people around you that pour into you. And I feel like we don't have enough of that. Even people will say, oh yeah, we're all inclusive, we care. I'm a girl's girl. Like, be real. Like, everyone's not a girl's girl.
I'm a child. I've noticed that. I've seen it. I truly am a girl's girl. I don't talking about child, but no, I understand. I understand. Your tribe is what really makes you like who you are. I think I discussed this like last week or week before last. Your tribe is really like your base. You can make things happen, but are you really making things happen because like you simply did it, or like you have the support, you have the harmony within like your tribe to actually assist you with that? And I think that's very imperative moving forward, like with self. And also what I also say is like your tribe is also certain reflections of yourself. There are certain things that I see in my sisterhoods and my brotherhoods and the people that I have surrounded me, like, oh, this is something that I see in you that I either appreciate or I need to work on, or I've attracted you in some sort of way, sort of form, where it's like you are a reflection of myself within this phase of my life. And I want to decipher, what that is, or I kind of already know what that is, And one of my good sisters, Sola, at Black Ass Flea Market, she had mentioned, people in your life are either mirrors, magnets, or pacemakers. There are some people who are mirrors of you, like I said, some people that are magnets that you attract them just because of something in you that, like I said, either that you admire or something that you need to work on. And like pacemakers, some people are there for like the long haul. Some people are there to like assist you in certain realms, in certain phases. Sometimes you will have to reposition them, or sometimes, you continue on with them within your journey. But having that type of mindset really gives you some insight about like your tribe and like who you have around, and also understanding that it's okay to reposition them even as you grow as an individual, or evaluate what you got going on, evaluate what you got going on in your camp, because sometimes some people will have certain people around them just because, and it's like, no, you really need to figure out why these people. So
and that's sometimes it's an internal thing. So overall, it is a job of the self. Like your friends are not supposed, like they can't do the work for you just as well as like your family can. They can pour positive things into you that can encourage and inspire you to be better and to believe in yourselves and to draw all of those positive affirmations and things to you. But overall, like you really have to build up like your overall stamina and your mindset.
Right.
And again, I know a lot of people don't like to say it, but like you are a reflection of the people you associate with, and vice versa. Even though you all are individuals, but at the same time, if I see you with a group of people and they're acting a certain type of way, I can only assume that you're going to do the same thing, you know? Unless I know, like, it just depends though. It really depends. But yeah, again, like my hopes is that everybody will get to the point where they can just fully embrace themselves. Like you can get on the internet and scroll and don't feel like 1 minute I feel good, but now that I'm seeing this girl, like I feel like I need to go run 10 miles in the gym.
Right.
You know, so it's a daily work, but this was a good conversation.
It was. I appreciate this.
Yes, thank you so
I
much. Thank you
appreciate
so
this.
much because I think I needed this more than what I thought. So it's like timing, divine timing really matches because you know I was scheduling things. So this came in the nick of time. So thank you so
Oh,
much for
yeah.
your
Oh, thank
energy.
you. Oh my God.
Yes. And before we go, please tell everyone about your podcast.
Okay. Peace, everybody. My name is Vena. I am a licensed social worker / therapist. I am the mama and the host of the Confession Corner podcast, a podcast that elaborates and highlights self-awareness, self-actualization, and mental health for young Black adults. We specifically talk about, just topics based upon interpersonal conversations, such as like anger management, self-awareness, feminine, masculine energy, all the things that encompass, just really in-depth conversations, and more so interpersonal conversations, like I said, and highlighting and embracing the radiance and joy of Blackness.
Mhm.
Um, it specifically is a space just to feel free, to feel vulnerable, and to ultimately just talk about things that are not in everyday conversations, but like I said, in-depth conversations where we get to nitty-gritty. I get in your business a little bit as well, but nothing too intrusive, but just highlighting the self-actualization of individuals, and being prominent within that, and having good conversation, having good vibes, and creating a safe space for us. I don't want to do the FUBU thing for us, by us,
Was
but
biased.
specifically it's for us. It's
Yes.
for us. I am on all streaming platforms. That's Apple Podcasts, Anchor by Spotify. Also, you could watch the podcast on YouTube at The Confession Corner, and it's spelled with a K. So it's THE Confession Corner, and it's spelled with a K. So it's K Confession K Corner. So I know it will be described. It will be put in the description and everything like that. But and also my personal Instagram is, you can find me, it's 3 underscores in the front, Vena. So that's 3 underscores in the front, VENA. We are in the process of closing out season 2. We had an amazing season 2. I'm looking forward to a few announcements within the months ahead, and then also coming out with season 3 later on within this year. So everybody stay tuned, stay intact, and it's going to be a wonderful time. So yeah.
Yes, and it has been a wonderful ride. Like I
Yeah.
enjoy, I don't know how we came into connection. It was social media,
I want to
but
say with social media.
yes, but I am grateful because your platform, it does challenge the mind. It has you look at things differently, but you learn something. Like
You
I like things,
do.
yeah, I like things that I can actually learn from, you
Yeah.
know? And like you said, it's for us by us.
Yeah, and honestly, look, ooh, don't quote it, Lord, don't quote it. But ultimately, that was the purpose, that was the intention. Ultimately, and I wanted it to intertwine with just like mental health, self-awareness, and like I said, self-actualization, and highlighting the radiance and joy of Blackness, because I do believe that yes, as Black people, we have these conversations, different conversations, but I would love to see, and that's what I love to see, in-depth and interpersonal conversation, and just the vulnerability of adults, because as we grow, we've been raised by baby boomers, but as we grow into adulthood, we start to navigate in different paths and find different parts of ourselves, and I think it's important to articulate that within the safe space.
Yeah, I love it. And you just never know how something is going to like help someone else that may be going through something but can't put to words, you
Yeah.
know, and they hear it coming from your platform. And they're like, oh, maybe this is what I have been dealing with, you know? And it also helps a lot of times to see people that look like us deal with the same type of stuff. Because a lot of,
Exactly.
I think now more so now in society, like we are now really talking about things more openly. We are really sitting in our vulnerability bag, and I love that for us. So
Right.
like she said, y'all, all of her information will be in the description box. So please go tap in with her. Like I promise you. Like I
And
try to
kudos to you. This was dope. I love this. I love this.
yes, no problem. You can come back anytime, girl. We can get into some more
Girl.
things, because I think you have a lot to offer, and just being in community. So, like this last year with you through social media has been so joyful. Like,
Oh,
so again, I appreciate your platform. I appreciate
thank you.
you for being I appreciate your patience and understanding. Okay.
Girl. Because
First
life
and
be like,
foremost,
man, I don't
yes,
understand.
I know, but just keep doing you, keep working hard, keep pouring out them positive messages, but definitely, stay grounded within yourself and intentional with you, and you're gonna be all right, girl.
Appreciate that. I receive it. Thank you. About to cry, Peter.
See,
You
she can cry. This is the Chronicles of
know?
Virgo. We indulge in emotions, okay? All right, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed that lovely conversation with me and Miss Vena. Thank you so much, girl, for coming on Chronicles of a Virgo podcast, embracing the platform with your beautiful spirit, wonderful energy, and your words of wisdom. And I think that was a conversation that I needed. See, that's what I was telling y'all. You never know how sometimes conversations and things are going to come up just in the right nick of time. But overall, like I said, the purpose of the conversation was just to inspire someone from another level, maybe you're someone that is dealing with the whole comparison thing, or like your self-worth, or just trying to get to the point where you can embrace all of your imperfections and truly love yourself, finding out what does self-love look like and really mean for me. And I feel like the main way to really do that is to block everybody and everything out, social media included, family, friends, whomever, and really get down to who you are from the inside out and not from the outside in. And that would save us a lot of time, a lot of stress, a lot of self-doubt, depression, all of those things when we just get to the point of figuring out who we are, and we're just like, you know what, I'm gonna stand 10 toes down because this is me, and I don't have to change myself, or I don't have to align myself a certain way just to fit a narrative for someone else, because I am beautifully and wonderfully made, and I'm me. You know, like I said, I have had my issues with trying to embrace my fullness, but I'm I'm in a better space. I am such in a better space, and whatever you have to do on a positive note to do that, do it for you. Always know that you are doing it for a good purpose, and the purpose is for you to be comfortable within the skin that you're in, the body that you're in, not looking at everyone else on social media and the facade that people give you, but get to this point to just be comfortable within you and embrace yourself, and don't look at your imperfections as something negative. Sometimes the imperfections are what really make us unique. Like I said on the episode with Vena, your imperfections are maybe things that no one else have, so that in itself is unique. So again, thank you, sis, for coming on Chronicles of Virgo podcast and talking with us. And you guys make sure you go check out her lovely podcast, The Confessions Corner. All of her links will be listed below in the description and social media, so you guys can tap in with her. Come tap in with me on social media if you have not. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I think that's all of them. Facebook at Chronicles of Virgo podcast on all of those lovely platforms. And if you want to be a guest on the show, or you would like to invite me to your show, you can either DM me on one of those platforms, or you can email me at chroniclesofvirgo22@gmail.com. Okay. So I hope to hear from you soon. Wherever you are listening to this show, whether it is on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Spreaker, whatever your listening choice is, please by all means leave us a good review. Let us know. Let me know how you like the show and how your girl is doing. If you are watching on YouTube, go ahead and drop down in the comments. Let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please go to YouTube or click the link below in the description and subscribe to Chronicles of Virgo podcast. Okay. We got some footage up there and stuff like that. So, again, thank you guys for joining me back for a lovely conversation. And we shall chat soon. Okay. So, make sure you guys continue to take care of yourself, body, mind, spirit, everything. Make sure you're in alignment. But most importantly, please take care of each other. Peace out.